Hey everybody, welcome back to another RCT2 review. We are through the second semifinal, the first portion of that match, and now we get into the opposing park. So this is Florida Action Park by the Adventurers Club, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Josh, not only the team captain, but the primary builder on this park. Welcome in.
What's up, man? Making me feel like a celebrity over here.
Geez, you certainly are, right? Captain of the Crunch.
Yeah, Florida man.
Florida man himself. We're both
Yeah,
Florida men today, and
that's true.
that's what we're looking at today. So this one hit close to home to me because it was hilarious and had all of the local inside jokes, and everything was just a hit for me. I love this park. Um, Before we go into the actual thing, so the one thing that hit me kind of on the nose on this one is that it's based on a real place. So this is based on Silver Springs State Park.
Kind of. It's funny, man. I mean, to kind of go in the history of why we even built this was, before, we even built this park, we were going to do Action Park, like almost like a rec based off the one in New Jersey. And as we were kind of struggling to fit it all on the map, we were like, well, we have to do some sort of a variation of it that allows us to, try different things and incorporate different rides and kind of pick and choose what we want to include. And we kind of figured, man, it'd be really cool to put this thing in Florida because it gives us kind of the freedom to do whatever we want, but also we can add that extra layer of just kind of sketchiness, because it's Florida. So,
Well,
um,
and for
so
anybody who's not familiar with it, Action Park was an infamous
oh yeah,
park in New Jersey that had all sorts of just wild rides and just crazy inventions that injured tons and tons of people. And it was sort of this like cult following. There's a Netflix documentary that's totally worth watching on this. So it made me, as soon as I saw the name, I was like, oh man, they did it. And there's a lot of classics in here, like the looping water slide.
oh for
Uh,
sure. Um, it's funny, man, because once I realized, yo, let's put this thing in Florida, I'm like, well, I because obviously I live in Orlando, you live in Orlando, we're surrounded by natural springs. I'm like, so if I could put this in like a spring, that'd be perfect because I don't want to have to make a mountain or we don't have any mountains or rivers or streams in Florida. So I was looking around, literally just looking on Google Earth of different springs, and I'm like, let me see what's over at Silver Springs, and then just so happened to be an old abandoned water park. Like the images are still available on Google Maps. It's been torn down since, but I'm like, man, this is actually perfect for what we need. So I based it heavily off of Silver Springs, the old water park, Wild Waters in Ocala. So that's kind of where I pulled a lot of the architecture from. Was
And
a
this little
real
restroom
place.
building here, I think, was one of
Well,
those.
actually, that one I shamelessly stole straight from the public restrooms at Lake Eola Park in downtown Orlando.
That's what it was. Well,
Yeah.
you gotta get it from somewhere. I like that, despite as we'll see as we explore the park, how kind of janky and trashy it is. Like the Springs is really pristine and really nice. I love the rock work and the different shades of blue and everything. Like it's really nice. And
I mean,
like,
if we could get really more in detail, you would probably see all like the cans of Mountain Dew at the bottom of the spring. But we don't have that resolution just yet.
I love the manatees here just trying to do their own thing while they're getting run into people with people on bumper boats and jet skis and boats and paddle boats and just swimmers and just like everything that you could possibly toss in here.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of packed with little details, and that's kind of what I enjoy doing. I love having little fun details, and especially with this one, it was kind of let me flex on something that I know inside and out, and let me just step outside and get some ideas. So
Well, first, I guess let's look at some of the bigger stuff on the map. Some of the stuff that struck me
for
as
sure.
impressive. So the figure eight go karts, which are an absolute staple in Orlando and other places
Hmm.
down here. This is great. I had never seen this executed so well. Is it just half quarter style objects or the half
Yeah, I
diagonals?
mean, this one was pretty wild, man, because I knew that I wanted this in the park, but I also knew that I couldn't build it. Like, I feel like I'm a poser in this game. I build a couple cool things, and the rest I just delegate to people who are better than me. Raunchy Russ or Brandon, but yeah, Raunchy Russell, he's the one that took this on, and I mean, he murdered it. He did several iterations of it. Tried some with track and tried some with different just kind of track texture stuff. And in the end, we decided to go with kind of like the half diagonals, like those new objects. It kind of gave it. I don't know, it just looked the most natural and flowing,
It
and
really
the layout,
does.
yeah, dude,
Like
it's
you can't
cool.
tell where the brakes are and everything is really well put together. I've tried for years to do this smoothly and I just have never been able to. So
Yeah.
it's a
I mean, I
classic
think
there.
the game's at the point now where we have these kind of wild scenery pieces where we can do this kind of stuff, and more people
Hmm.
are able to make objects and kind of break it to however they want.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was one of the things that from the start we knew we wanted to include, and I'm really happy that he was able to make it happen.
And then your coaster, I know from the backstory, it's inspired by the Togo at Himeji Central Park, which is funny because I actually recognized that pretty early on because you had the corkscrew
Of course,
supports as they are, and it's one that I
you
rode
would.
while I was in Japan.
Well, I mean, honestly, man, this park was perfectly catered, specifically built for you to appreciate.
Fair enough. Why did you choose to stick a coaster in this one? I think you could have easily gotten away
Um,
without if you didn't want to.
Yeah, we probably could have, but I mean, and it's funny, man, because I'm usually the type that's like, man, I don't want to put a coaster in this. Like, even though the game's called Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's basically for me, it's just like playing Legos, So I'm famously like I could care less about the coasters, which makes you and I pretty opposite. But I knew early on I wanted a coaster in this, just because I wanted something that was very janky and sketchy, and the supports and everything, and just kind of giving it that whole feel of like, man, what if the dude that built this park literally just bought a secondhand coaster and just kind of put it together himself or with a team, and pretty haphazardly. And so
Oh,
I wanted it to look secondhand, and
the
I wanted there to be like missing pieces or
that's great. The extra pieces in the corner and all that, and
yeah.
then just the water slides in general. You get the nice these couple two here that drop right off into the pool, and then the classic riding on your little lunch tray
The
booth
aqua
here.
scoot thing.
Yeah, those things are crazy. I always feel like I'm gonna die when I ride those.
Yeah,
Um,
that was fun, man. Brandon did the support for that one, but if you rotate, you can see we wanted it to be like to where when they come off the mat, they almost run into the the supports, so you
that's
can see some of
great.
the wood that kind of broke off.
That's funny. And then you get a lot of other good stuff here. Your a bungee tower there. There's the um, free fall or the other bungee tower there, and then I love this guy jumping off into the inflatable pad here, but the platform is lifted on the high reach, like
Man,
so sketch.
that was literally the first thing put on the map. Once I built that little that little lift, I'm like, all right, that's the kind of vibe I want for this park.
It's
Really
just
sketchy, really just kind of homemade and stupid.
yeah, I mean that's what really kind of makes the park to what it is. And then the other classics. This was an actual thing at Action Park. These tanks,
Hmm. The tank
um,
battle, yeah.
which just hilarious that it existed in the first place. But then just all the little eclectic architecture here, like the burger bar here, and you're not quite sure if this
Yeah.
is sesame seeds or if this is trash or what's
Who
going
knows?
on.
Yeah, that's all Brandon as well. Yeah, the tank battle was kind of funny. So we have a broken down tank that's just getting shot at repeatedly by the people on the outside.
Funny.
Um, yeah, it
Um,
was.
so I think what makes the park, beyond just the park itself, which certainly kind of can exist great on its own, is all of the so very typical Florida surroundings. I feel like this could exist on Route 192 in Orlando, or up in Ocala is just about as evenly done there. You've got your giant U.S. sugar train here, just shunting back and forth, holding up everybody and everything. Um, you gotta have your Publix
Oh yeah.
and the gotta have the fireworks store out here. I love the Blockbuster. It's just here. This is
I mean,
like
if I wanted to be realistic, it probably could have been in like a movie gallery maybe. And realistically, this Publix wouldn't be as nice as the one I built. I kind of plussed it up a little bit.
hey, you got
But
the fancy stuff going on here. You got the nice pharmacy and like
yeah, I mean, in
looking
the end,
good.
I wanted to go for kind of recognizability and you kind of evoking kind of nostalgia, and I think it was successful in that quite a bit. The colors are on point and just the imagery looks, to me, it looks authentic. So that's kind of why I went for it.
Well, and that's the thing for anybody who's not from Florida or hasn't really spent a lot of time around here. I mean, this is on point. Like this is what you will see is the same colors, the tans, the greens. this
Yeah.
dude on the motor scooter is absolutely going to
Gonna
be
say, yeah,
there.
you
Like,
will see some big ladies going in circles on motor scooters, and you will see people demanding their painkillers at the counter. It's
exactly, it's pretty spot on. But there's all
yeah.
these great little vignettes. You get your Dollar General, and then the Playboy over here. Um,
Yeah,
I love that you
and then
censored the sign.
well, honestly, that was a last minute thing because, I forgot that we put the the boobs in there as a joke, and I'm like, "Man, I gotta hide this before the Germans see this." But it's alright. Yeah, again, Brandon built the strip club, and what's funny, man, is, there's not really many full nudity strip clubs here in Orlando or
Mhm.
Ocala. That's more of a Tampa thing. We're slightly classier, but,
You gotta
it was
be a little classier than Tampa.
it was too funny not to include.
Just all the little vehicles and everything going around. I love the Magical Express that's just broken down here.
Yeah,
Um,
that was supposed to be a group of tourists that were looking for Disney and just got lost.
Well, and the little culvert here on the side with the sort of stagnant, like dark green water with the gators and everything is just very on point. Along with the all the billboards here, the Jesus billboard, as you would absolutely expect.
Oh, of
Um,
course, Disney. What is that one? Wendy's. I think there's a Morgan
yeah,
and
Morgan
Morgan.
and Morgan, which you have to for the people.
That's all right now,
Um,
man. For the people.
is this a meth van that's burned out?
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
And you've got your across the tracks here, and you get your hotel, which is I really actually like the architecture of this motel. It feels very like you would see in kind of the lower rent areas of Orlando and everything, but kind of nice. Got your pool
Yeah,
there.
dude. The hotel was a lot of fun. It was kind of my first time playing with some of the half diagonals, but it's actually based very closely on the motel that's still there, kind of on that corner by Wildwater or Silver Springs.
Nice.
So I mean, we took a little bit of creative liberty with it, but kind of like that triangle structure was very heavily based off of that, and I think it came out much better than I thought it would,
Kind of
to
has
be
that
honest.
old school like Howard Johnson like facade going on there with the big tall roofs and everything. But I like the green and
Oh,
how
for
that
sure.
all ends up looking. You got your
Yeah,
trailer, your campground trailer park kind of thing going on over here. Um, our favorite Europeans here making their uh,
on their bikes.
debut on the bikes. And then of course the Shell station or the Love station that's on fire is
Yeah.
fantastic. What are some of the details that you found kind of the funniest or like one of those must add sort of things?
I mean, obviously, fire ants. This is Florida. That's I'm going for things that have affected me specifically in my life. So obviously, fire
Accurate.
ants. Getting attacked by 'em. I mean, I mowed the yard today and got attacked by them, so it's still relevant.
Sounds about
Um,
right.
yeah, I mean, in the pool, the hotel or the motel there, there's someone who had an accident in the water, and definitely not them, of course.
Of course, denying it. You got to.
I mean, I'm someone I've worked in hotels quite a bit, so and I had to hide a couple employees in the pool shack, going at it a little bit. Um,
Oh, no.
I mean, I've
Uh,
heard stories. I'm not speaking from experience on that one. I can confidently say.
that's good.
Um,
You're
but yeah,
thinking.
man, this was a lot of fun. I mean, I tried making it feel as authentically Florida. If you look under the corkscrews, I kind of put some of the white sand. There's a lot of that in kind of Central Florida with the orange groves and like kind of whiter sand
Mhm.
and mixed in with the grass.
Yeah,
Um,
I live in a house that's on a former orange grove, and my entire yard is white sand.
yeah.
So absolutely, it's that kind of stuff, those sorts of little details that are just fun and are going to be lost on a lot of people. But the
Oh,
fact
for
that you
sure.
included it in there is cool. I love how that sort of edges its way through some of the pathways and everything.
Yeah. You
Um,
know, and kind of a fun detail that I knew no one would really catch also was kind of by like the Tarzan swing area. I put a little glass bottom boat, just kind of like a remnant from Silver Springs to kind of show that it was, this place has some kind of a history.
hmm
Uh,
and I
that's what world building. It's kind of fun to be able to establish a world that the park can exist in, kind of give it some
mhm.
history. And I know you're no stranger to that, and that's partially what inspired a lot of this. Doing a lot of research and kind of making sure to dot our i's and cross our t's and make it feel as authentic as possible.
But I think that's what I appreciate about this kind of stuff is that despite the fact that this is a hilarious map that's poking fun at all sorts of Florida things and has just all sorts of just janky and weird stuff. There is that classy kind of base to the map and the research nature of it and all of the kind of effort you put behind it to make sure that it is actually checking all those boxes
Yeah.
is really nice. And it certainly, shines through whether or not people are going to notice it. I feel like it still will, you'll still be able to see that intrinsically in there.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, if whether people notice it or not, if I'm gonna spend my extra time doing this and playing this game, I'm gonna make something that I enjoy, and,
Hmm.
I just wanted to make something that was fun, and, I had a really supportive and fun team that kinda helped push it through, and, we had a blast with this one, man, and it was cool to be able to, implement some new things, some new custom rides, the shopping carts, the power chairs, the manatees.
Hmm.
Ayrton was a huge help with that, like, dude, I had no idea he could even make custom vehicles, and neither did he up until the start of the contest,
It's
and,
amazing how this contest brings out the best in object builders and ride builders, and
absolutely.
people who either haven't done it much or have only done it a little bit now suddenly crank out these like super cool things. I mean, your
Man,
team was killing
my
it as
yeah,
far as
my
that
entire
goes.
team surprised me. I'll say from the start, people like Hydro and Hubaru are some of the best that I've seen play, but I didn't know that Ranchi or Brandon would be one of the best players I've ever seen, or Otstarva would be so helpful in hacking, or Scoop is a powerhouse at just building, and I mean everyone was just they really pulled their weight and really impressed me.
Well,
So
and now
for a
that
park like this that's this far down the line in the season, still really cool to see how everyone kinda came together and supported. Um, it was really fun.
absolutely, and now that on the channel we've seen both parks now, I can say that this was the victorious park, and you guys got pushed on to the finals. So congratulations on the semifinals win. This was a well-deserved win for sure. Definitely a tough opponent to go up to with the Happy Valley Hangzhou
Yeah.
gang, but I think this is a well-deserved win.
Well, I'm glad you can pronounce that because I didn't even try. Um, I mean, honestly, my goal going into the semis was like, I gotta beat Liam's bald head at this, and mission accomplished. We spanked the Dutchman, and,
There you
um,
go.
no offense to their team. Man, honestly, like, with the parks that they were putting out near the end, I thought for sure they were gonna destroy us with, as we saw the Gangland and the Indian Park.
Hmm.
So I feel like we did get lucky, but in the end, we put out the park that we wanted to put out, and we're all really happy of and proud of it as a team. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
appreciate
you
you
should be.
appreciate you taking the time to look at over it with me.
Absolutely. Any parting thoughts on the park?
No, man, I'm just like I said, I'm appreciative. I guess we didn't really talk about the loop thing, kind of the big glaring giant giant donut in the middle of the park. Um, that was, people always argue that, this game's turning in more into a 3D modeling type of type of a thing. I I did model it in 3D and kinda convert it to scenery, and I do know that it's kinda glitchy for some people, but in the end, it did look kind of ugly with track of texture, and I wanted to try and see if I can match the shading, and, you
I,
know, I feel like it makes for a striking overview, and it's somewhat functional, so
I think he
I
got to. I
I
really
stand
don't
by it.
see. I don't see any other way to do this in a way that doesn't look really bad. We've seen people
Yeah,
attempt it with like the double layered B&M track and things like that. It just doesn't look good.
yeah,
So
you had to tweak a little bit.
I'd rather see it as a scenery piece that is, clearly not part of the game, but definitely seems the attempt has been made to make it part of it. And
Oh, yeah.
I think you made the right choice there.
Yeah, I mean, no regrets. Also, real quick, I had to do a little Easter egg to Blue Pearl. You got to shout out to Steve a little bit. Um, yeah,
Well,
he's a nice guy
and
on
we'll go
occasion,
to
so I had to.
the other side here. Here's Steve and Logan
Yeah, it's true.
on the boat on Logan's boat, getting ready to
Yeah, yeah.
well.
We liked your team. Of course, we'll be nice to you guys.
Well, he didn't have to face you guys, thankfully, because I was a little worried about that. But it's this is good. So this is a really cool semifinals part, one of my favorites for sure.
I
Um,
appreciate it. Well, I'm
but
glad you were able to catch a lot of the references that we tried to pack in here for you.
absolutely. Well, I encourage everybody else to also download the park. Link is in the description, so take a look and go find all the clickable stuff because we didn't really go through a lot of that, but click on all the staff members and everything because they're all hilarious. Like they're all really well done. So thank you, Josh. I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, dude, appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you all for watching. As always, we will catch you in the next one as we move to our third place match before we roll into the grand final, which will be posted just after that. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.